You might remember in the fall, in early November, and we are in later April right now of 2022, but in the late fall, again early November, we brought the topsoil up here and we spread it around, and we seeded and strawed this area. And you can see we got a lot of grass growth, but of course we got a lot of weed growth too, because there was a lot of weeds in the topsoil that we brought up here. But we had several areas that just didn't take real well. So about 2 weeks ago, I came up and I raked all this straw off where the grass had not come through. I put some new seed down and then put some straw back on top of it. And we've got some small growth just after a couple of weeks. Just a little bit here and there. It's kind of splotchy. I don't think it's going to take completely, but if I start taking care of this now, get it mowed, start putting some weed and feed down, it'll probably fill in some, and I can just keep, you know, adding more as the spring continues to go on. But over in here, it's nice. Pretty lush in certain areas. And there's a video that maybe I'll try to link to this video and show you when we did that, so that you can check it out and how we did it and see if we made some mistakes or if we got it right. But overall, I think, and you can see right down there where I stopped with the topsoil and I stopped with the seed. Here we are, the bad boy. It's the 60-inch Bad Boy ZT Elite, and we're about to give it a go. So I have never cut on a zero turn in my life until this mower. So you're about to see someone who has never done this try to tackle it, and it's not going to be a problem in, you know, normal terrain at all. But I'm concerned about the hill down there where I'm going to be cutting, to see how it does there. But let me tell you a little bit about this machine. So I chose Bad Boy mowers because it was a good value for the price that I paid and for what I could get. To me, this seemed like one of the best values that was out there. It's sturdy, it's heavy duty. This is a 2022 model, and they did a few upgrades, mostly cosmetic. They got the cool little foot tread here, and it's got the logo Bad Boy on it, and it kind of mimics the tread on your tires, I think. They've blacked out, I think, these side panels. They've, I believe, improved the seat. It's got nice breathable holes through it. But as far as the heavy dutiness of this machine, one thing that really sold me on it was this deck. This is a 7-gauge steel deck, and it's reinforced on the front, but this is a thick piece of metal here that you can stand on and feel confident you're not going to hurt it, and it will outlast the entire mower. I'm sure that deck is going to be stout and tough. It's got some nice wheels on it, and those seem pretty strong and stout. This one has a little bit of a, they call this a suspension system. I believe this was new for 2022, and it's just basically a big piece of rubber here in between this area on both sides. Supposed to give it a smoother ride. I like the deck adjustment. So when you're setting in the mower, you have this little dial here, and this dial allows you to adjust the height of the deck. What you do is you put your foot, press that, and that lifts it up. I'll do it again. So press, lift. When you do that, you can turn this dial, the arrow, this shows it at 4 inches all the way down to 1.5 inches. That lowers it way down on the ground. So we're gonna do it again, bring it back up. We'll start this at 4, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to get down there. I'm mowing this way too soon after just putting new seed on there a couple of weeks ago. But I've got to get some of these weeds cut down, and I also should not put any weed and feed fertilizer on it, or the fertilizer would be fine, but the weed killer that's mixed in with the fertilizer, I've got to do pebbles up here. I don't have the granular, I don't have running water, so at home I like spraying the weed killer through the water hose, you know, and it shoots it out diluted, and it does a great job. We'll hope that these pellets will do a good job, or this granular weed and feed in killing all these weeds and fertilizing this area. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna cut this and see how it goes with this new bad boy. So before I do, we have an hour meter on right here. You can see this is a 0.5 hours, half an hour on this thing. Here's your throttle, there's your PTO. Of course, I showed you that. As you guys know, these are what control the hydraulic. This is a hydrostatic, or well, I'm not sure of the terminology. It's a hydraulic transmission, and it's a serviceable transmission. That's one of the other reasons that I purchased this machine. Is I understand that one of the most important things is to get a transmission that's serviceable, that you can maintain, and you have to go up to a certain level of a machine. Especially this is what they consider the top end residential mower. It's designed to mow up to about 5 acres per week is what they say. But this is a commercial hydro gear. It's the ZT 3100 hydro gear, and it's serviceable. And so that was key for me, was getting a serviceable transmission so that I could take care of it and maintain it. A lot of these other ones that are residentially rated, on the lower scale, you can't service those transmissions, and so you're going to get a lot less life. And from what I understand, as nice as this engine is, what's the most important on one of these zero turns is that transmission, because that's what does a lot of the work with these two handles right here. But this is the Kawasaki FR730V. Like I said before, there's the nice air filter and intake, and so I'm going to make sure we keep that nice and clean. See, that's gotta get that around there. There we go. And then here we are. Here's where the oil dipstick is at. I checked it earlier, and we're good on oil. Nice, fresh, clean oil. They put it in where I purchased it, and we've got a good bit of gas in it. And by the way, there is a gas gauge right over here, as you can see. We're about at a half a tank. A lot of compartments on this 2022. I think that's new as well. You have these two compartments over on the driver's left side. Easy accessible gas tank right here. And then you have the compartment over here. This is also easily accessible, which is going to be important if I ever have to do any work down there on the pulleys and the belt. You can get right in there, and there's a pattern in case you ever have to rework that belt and put it on your pulleys. It tells you where to put it. And yeah, it's a pretty solid mower, so I'm very excited about it. Hopefully it'll do the trick, and I'm hoping I can get that heel with it. What I'm concerned about on a heel is there is no steering mechanism on this. I mean, you have the arms there so that you can basically guide yourself, but these two wheels on the front, they're going to be moving they're going to turn based on momentum, and they're going to turn based on gravity. And so when I'm on a hill, my concern is these are going to want to spin forward, kind of start rolling down the hill. So I'm going to have to keep the momentum going and go at the right angle so that doesn't cause a problem. You ready to mow?
I'm ready.
Let's cut it. Let's make it happen.
Go.
You got to have the brake up. And I think these have to be apart for it to start. Let's see if that's the deal. Okay, throttle up. Brake down. There we go. Look how pretty this grass here is on this side. It cleaned it up good. Wow. You know, I've had a ride mower many years. You might have seen it in the past. Just a little Husqvarna ride mower. But this thing gets the job done quickly. You don't have any choice but to go quick. I mean, you just got to get used to it, but it won't take long and we'll get used to it. But yeah, look at this. Looks good.
This looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, now some weed and feed on this thing, and I can see it coming in really good. That's another thing they did new for 2022. They blacked out the back of this. Got the bad boy logo. Yeah, you could get right up against those trees. Now I need to get the air blower out and blow off all the debris, all the grass clippings and the straw from the concrete. Let's do that. All right, so the bad boy, it's pretty cool. It's a little scary, you know, just being on a zero turn on a hill that I've never even ran a zero turn until now. But you can see this hill, it slopes pretty good. Down there's the culvert that comes out from over here. But I was able to get the majority of this. It just feels sort of out of control because, like I said before, those front wheels, they want to just go toward gravity or momentum, and it's hard to get the right momentum when you're not used to this. So this area right here was the area that I've decided I'm not going to try with the zero turn. That's pretty steep right there. Can't really tell great with the video, but I did go up this way, and it was kind of hopping around and wanting to go to the side, and I did a crisscross here. But on this hill, what I found was, and you guys, if you've watched the channel, you've seen me do this with a DR, the field and brush mower, which works perfectly fine. In fact, I'll be finishing that up with the DR. I've also done this with a tool that I've not even showed you guys yet, and that is a Swisher pull behind, and I pull it behind my four-wheeler, Blue, and it works good. I'm able to take the four-wheeler and go up and down this hill and pull that Swisher behind me and walk behind the DR. But the bad boy, and I previously did it with a Husqvarna ride mower when I first got the property. I wouldn't recommend that at all. The bad boy did great coming down the hill. Going up the hill, it feels a little light on the front end. It feels like it wants to kind of tip up. There was a time, maybe twice, where the front wheels actually came off the ground, and that's when I decided I would go up, come back around, and mow down. Come over, go up, come back around, mow down. And I did that and continued doing that all the way. We have had quite the winter with a lot of rain, and it has created ruts that we just didn't have before. We've obviously had the ruts in the ditch. They've gotten horrible. So I'm going to be either bringing excavator in here or my bucket, and I'm going to bring these and curve them up, more of a gentle slope, possibly put some riprap here, bring some more tiles across so it's not hitting so hard when that water comes down here, because boy, that's hitting hard. But I'll be cutting the rest of this with the DR or the Swisher. We'll see which one. But I was pretty pleased with the bad boy. Now, up after we finished down here, we went on back up toward the cabin, and all the woods we started, I used the bad boy and cut in around the trees out from the grass, just where some of the weeds have started to come up. And we'll get a little bit of footage of that and let you see what it does there. All right, before we go back up there to the woods, I'll show you from the top of the hill looking down where I didn't get. You can see the slope we have here. Some pretty straight down and then out and then down. And again, it's hard to tell the contour of the land on the video, but I mentioned some of these ruts that we've got that were not here. Now, we did have a hole forming over here last year. It was already there, but look how big this hole has gotten. This is concerning. And of course, I knocked grass down in there, but it goes much deeper than that. And it's, I think, going under this hill and coming out down there at the driveway. But we also had a whole lot of rutting going on here. This was not here at all last spring, last summer. It formed over the winter with all of the rain coming out. And we have a hole right up here. Where's it at, hon? Oh yeah, this has gotten so much bigger. It was here too, but it's definitely getting bigger. Look how it goes deep in there. Who knows? There might be some coyotes living in there. See if we see any paw prints. I don't see any. But yeah, got to do something about this area up here. Maybe fill it full of rock or something.